Alright, let's walk around and see if we can find anything else to open. Because there were quite a few chests that we hadn't dealt with. Hello. You again. We keep seeing that guy. This time he ran towards us and then disappeared off screen. Weird. Or warp 95%. We're pretty good at lore warp.
Excellence matters.
The beggar's corpse is disfigured by bony growths. Eyes, mouth, and tentacles are constantly appearing in the ocean of his flesh. It is difficult to mistake warp distortion of this severity for anything else. And Lord Xenos?
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
An empty vial is lying on the ground. It contains repitrophine, a stimulant that heightens one's perception of moving objects, but hinders their ability to see stationary objects. Huh. That way, I think, goes to the pit. So we'll hold off on that for the moment.
None shall stand in my way.
There's some goods. Give it a look, Pascal.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
Alright, a switch that takes tech use that we couldn't do before.
Operation successful.
More random loot. Yeah, at some point we're probably supposed to go back to the arena. And I'm just putting that off for now.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Have we looked at this yet? Yes.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
Amazing how good having a tech priest makes our ability to get places. Incubus Clave. It's a two-handed exotic sword. That actually is doing a good amount of damage. Not sure if we have anyone who can use it. Eldari Ranger Sight. Whereas Deadeye shots, critical hits triggers expose weakness against the affected enemy until the end of combat. Interesting. Hand of offense, the wearer's melee attack damage is increased by 12. Wearer's melee attack damage is increased by 12? That is a huge amount of damage. We're definitely going to check that out. Here. So you've got good skill boosting stuff. What about you? Bonus to commerce and lore, bonus to Medicae. Medicae might be needed at the moment. This boosts your melee skill by 0. Hang on. Psi rating. Oh. Uh-huh. So this is only good for Heinrichs. Gotcha. Looks so good, and now it's not. Did I shot critical hits trigger expose weakness? Target the wearer's ranged attack fails a toughness resistance test. With the Mind Stem Pedal, they get exhaustion on that target. I think we'll replace that one. Transport adorned with massive blades would make a deadly weapon on the battlefield.
It's about time.
There's an exceptional monkey. Talking about me, or are you talking about the space angel? The man, words are not working for me. Common monkey do not last long. You may have survived. Yeah. The Space Marine. There we go. There's words. I don't know if they would count a Space Marine as a monkey. Mystic Ward. At the start of every combat turn, or at the start of every combat, the wearer's allies gain deflection equal to the wearer's psi rating. Ooh. Whenever an ally suffers any damage, they lose and loses non-temporary wounds. This effect is removed from that ally. So we would be giving every ally 4 deflection at the start of combat. Still monkey. Okay. Wasn't sure if they considered them something different because they're obviously different to us humans. Bruiser Boots. Whenever the wearer performs an area attack, they instantly provoke attacks opportunity from all adjacent enemies. Wearer gains toughness, temporary wounds for each attack of opportunity provoked by an area attack. So, if we put this on Abelard and had him do, like, cleave, then all the enemies would get attacks on him, which would give him temporary wounds, as well as stacks of his Vanguard ability. Huh. Neither of my items is terribly important. But I think we'll switch out the metronome. No. We'll switch out the ice-covered Aquila. We don't get hit very often, and we don't get crit very often either. And then the Bruiser Boots, probably for Abelard, makes the most sense. All allies in a 2-cell radius around the wearer gain 40% bonus to resolve from the Unyielding Beacon ability instead of the original bonus. Yeah, I don't particularly care about that. Okay, more goods.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Another tech use here.
Operation successful.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Alright, looks like we have fully looted the place. Now we can go back to the pit, which was somewhere back here, I guess. Over here. See if there's anything we can do around here. And after that, I think it's time for the arena again, as much as I don't really want to fight for the amusement of the Dark Eldar. Okay, we are in a location where we're by ourselves and our party members are around, which is usually what happens when we are on our ship. But it didn't automatically heal Pascal. Let's try talking to each of our party members then.
May these instructions protect the machine spirits that serve me from the blasphemies of corrupted technology.
Pascal's deeply focused on drawing protective runes and sacred unguents on the metal surfaces of his mechadendrites. We have been betrayed, Pascal. How are you feeling after the punishment your body has taken? Any valuable thoughts on how we can get out of here? How does it feel to be in Camorra? It's a rare opportunity. Or don't lose your morale. We're going to make it. We've been betrayed, Pascal.
Reverse analysis is showing the act of sabotage to have been predictable. The directives for interacting with xenoraces warn about non-humans' proclivity for breaching contracts. The data concerning the unreliability of the unit, Iliad, has been archived.
Pascal's voice is dry and indifferent, but his drilling mechadendrites roars menacingly. Again, that was a thing that seemed odd to me last stream, is there was a lot focusing on Iliad being guilty and us forgiving her. But I don't remember her actually intentionally doing something wrong. So I must have missed something, or something wasn't explained thoroughly. She was the one who told us to go here, but it was because she thought there was some of her people in the area. Yeah, she's why we're here, because she said that she had heard our people were here. And when we got to the location, the Dark Eldar that we've interacted with before said, yeah, it was a trap he'd placed, sending out messages in order to trick us into thinking that her people were here. And so it's like, she didn't do anything wrong. She just believed the lies that had been intentionally spread to trick us. And we all fell into the trap, including her. So it just doesn't feel like she's guilty of anything. Just that she didn't recognize a trap was a trap, which none of us recognized. So the fact that everyone keeps on harping on, oh, she's guilty and she brought us here, it's like, If you recall, she became aware at some point and still tried to push you here. If so, I missed that. It's possible. But yeah, I don't recall that. So it just keeps being weird when everyone's just like, she's guilty. How are you feeling after the punishment your body has taken?
Functional parameters restored to suboptimal levels. In token of mourning for the loss of true flesh, the pain receptor blocking systems have been disabled. Algetic simulation engaged in integral catharsis mode.
Do you ever regret turning down the opportunity to comprehend xenotech through your own flesh and blood? Probably not.
This statement is false. The adjacency of xeno-augmetics to the sacred metal of the machine god and their interaction with it resulted in algorithmic paradoxes and the blasphemous consequences thereof. The Omnissiah purifies and protects.
The mechadendrite clicks its claws resolutely. Any valuable thoughts on how we can get out of here?
Strategic recommendation. Analysis has shown that the non-human community is racked by strife. Exploiting the xenos mutual differences can result in temporary alliances that will provide the technological means of returning the unit von Valancius to real space.
Okay. We had kind of thought of that already, that we need to get... Because we'd talked to the Dark Eldar who set the trap. I don't remember his name. And discussed the idea of potentially working with him to try and get back at the people that he's against, because we're also against them. So a temporary alliance, sort of. So same idea here. How does it feel to be in Komorra? It's a rare opportunity. Not a good opportunity, but a rare opportunity.
This place is calling out to the Omnissiah for an act of purifying and gracious xenocide. The spatial disharmony observed here points to its anathematic nature. That being said, complete extermination is not advised. Those in possession of technological knowledge should be rounded up and subjected to interrogation and vivisection prior to disposal.
The Vox this is quietly for a while. Yeah, don't just burn them all. We need to interrogate and vivisect any that might know technological secrets. Don't lose your morale, we're going to make it.
May the filters of knowledge bestowed upon us by the machine god protect us from the temptations and horrors of blasphemous revelations.
I'll take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
The Vox synth emits a rattling binaric mantra. Alright, who else do we have around? Juliet's over here.
You came back from the dark, Elentark? Unharmed.
While the Irliet's sharp features remain the same, the deep shadows around her eyes and her listless gaze give her the appearance of a living corpse. The Eldari looks withered and hunted, despondent. But when you approach, the restlessness in her eyes is replaced with a faint glimmer of hope. I mean, I wouldn't say that I was unharmed. That very start of us being dropped down the pit, bleeding, and I think having our hamstring cut was not a good position to be in. And a creature in our brain that was pouring hallucinogens into our head. Wouldn't call that unharmed. How are you?
My body has already healed. The wounds of the soul will heal one day too. For suffering is a part of our life, not unlike love and fear and the desire to learn. The paths help the children of Asuryan to endure any spiritual upheaval. And you, Elentark, did not allow me to stray from mine. For this, I am grateful.
Irliet nods gratefully.
And yet, neither rest nor our reconciliation can soothe the savage turmoil in my soul. Kruderak is lost. We are trapped. And the truth remains as hidden from me as ever it was. What happened to my kin? What happened to my world? And why did my dark cousin tell me less than he knew?
There is a roiling darkness in Irliet's emerald eyes that seems to search the very bottom of your soul. Probably because Kruderak was attacked by the Eldari, by the Dark Eldar, I'm assuming. And why did he tell you less than he knew? Because he's intentionally trying to sabotage you? What happened to you after the trial?
I was meant to share your fate, Elentark, and vanish in the Dark City's rotting underbelly. But the Fleshmaster gave a different order. His twisted mind was beset by a question. Could a child of Asuryan be saved from the gaze of she who thirsts with intense re-education? By replacing the influence of my spirit stone with the heady tang of pain that nourishes the followers of the dark ways?
Interesting question. Can Eldari of one group turn in... Like, are they physically the same? Where if a Eldari of one group decides to follow the ways of another group, can they save their spirit using those different methods? Don't know.
I donned the executioner's mantle. They allowed me to keep my spirit stone in exchange for the suffering of others. I survived, prayed for Asuryan's mercy, and hoped to escape before the stone cracked under the torrent of pain and terror assaulting my soul. Before the experiment was complete.
The crystal in Irliet's chest plate lights up with a crimson glow, and each of her breaths becomes more labored and restless than the last. Yeah, that's rough. Do you want to discuss something with me?
Not here. The words of my truth are intended only for your ears, Elentark.
Irliet gives a short nod. End dialogue. There were more things I wanted to talk about. Where are we going? Did we just take a couple of steps over? Ignatius, Irliet's usual pride and arrogance gives way to awkwardness and confusion. This is the first time ever having to explain myself like this, but you, more than anyone, deserve to know the truth. I understand how unworthy I am in your eyes. This may sound like a ridiculous excuse, but I did not want to betray you, Ignatius. I only wished to learn the truth about Kruderak's demise and find my kin. When I saw the shard of my world in your dwelling, that trophy mounted on the wall, I was beside myself with fear and rage, and when my dark cousin whispered in my ear that he knew the answers to my questions, I made a mistake. I trusted my kin, and fearing that you might refuse me if you knew where I had been getting my orders from. I simply asked you to direct the ship to the particular system. Okay, so yeah, she was knowingly following the Dark Eldar's orders and directed me. So she is guilty. I think this is the information I had been missing. That it was a deliberate act, knowing that we were being led into a potential trap, or at least being led to where the Dark Eldar were telling us to go, which should have been obviously a trap. Did I trust Marzahai? No, of course not. I thought he spoke of my kin's location to crush my soul, that he wanted me to go there and find only death instead of them. But hope for the better, prevailed over my faith in you, Elentok. Aelit sighs awkwardly, avoiding her gaze. Filled with hope, the thought never even crossing my mind that this single thread, forever slipping from my grasp, would lead us to the very heart of the Dark City. I'm sorry, Ignatius, and I wanted you to know that. Your faith in me, did I hear that right? I already told you that I know nothing about the shard. The trophy belonged to Theodora, my predecessor. I've always been honest with you, Irliat. You, however, lied to me from the start. I understand why you did that, and I forgive you, or I do not think I will ever be able to completely trust you. Your faith in me, did I hear that right? Irliat looks you straight in the eye. The time I spent with you, our conversations, the glow of your soul that only I can see, yes, faith, with you, She stammers, at a loss for words. I already told you that I know nothing of the shard. That trophy belonged to Theodora, my predecessor. So you are not the one to blame for the destruction of Krudorak, but your blood is? Aelit purses her thin lips. No, I will not condemn you and your blood. No more. My accusations have already cost us too much. Do I call her out for lying to me from the start? I don't think so. There have been some occasional lies, but I think in general she has mostly been honest. Just at the end here that led us where we are is the first major lie. I understand why you did that, and I forgive you. Aelit's eyes widen in surprise. I give you my word, Ignatius, I will never betray your trust ever again. You've shown great compassion by accepting me and forgiving my deed. I do not know if I would have been able to do the same. It pains me to know the hardships you had to endure because of me, and you still suffer in this cursed arena, in this cursed city. I also... Aelit pauses as if hesitant to continue. My soul is crushed, Elentok. The loss of Krudorak, the horrors of Camorra, and the Drukhari's attempts to re-educate me. I have fully paid the price. I have lost my path and can no longer meditate. My body and my soul know no peace now, and that means that she who thirsts will soon turn a predatory gaze on me. You are unable to meditate? Can that happen? How are you going to regain your powers now? I wish I could embrace you and give you comfort, but you cannot bear a human touch. Wow. This seems like a potential jump onto a romance with Irliat, which doesn't surprise me that there is such an option. We're technically romancing... It's been so long since she's been part of the party. The assassin. I don't remember her name. That's not good for our romance partner. But I'm pretty sure that whole romance has played its part. So it's like, I could try and jump to a different one. But as a dogmatic character, the idea of romancing an Eldar is probably not okay. I cannot help with meditation, but I'm prepared to stay with you and share the silence. That way you will be able to forget about the horrors of Camorra, if only for a little while. I hope you find a way to deal with that, or everyone gets what they deserve. You're unable to meditate. Can that happen? I have heard stories about Eldari unable to reach their inner world because of anguish or madness, and every story has a tragic ending. How are you going to regain your powers now? I do not know. Sincere hopelessness rings in Irliat's voice. I'm not gonna go with the I wish I could embrace you and give you comfort. I cannot help with meditation, but I'm prepared to stay with you and share the silence. That way you will be able to forget about the horrors of Commissar, if only for a little while. Aelith freezes for a second, then gestures for you to take a seat nearby. We had a saying in Kruderach. In silence you can hear a heartbeat, the music of the soul trying to burst out. Please, share this wordless song with me, Ignatius, and may it bring peace to us both. Well, that was nice. And yeah, we can't climb up that even though it looks like it should be climbable. Oh yeah, we still had more to talk to Aelith about. Wherever she's hiding now. So I thought she was in this area? Did they move her to somewhere else? Guess so. We've already talked to Pascal. Oh, hey, Malice. The Slith may have been gravely maimed, but his gaze remains proud, piercing, and malicious. And the Commissar now runs this place. We'll talk to you in a bit. Alright, we've got Abelard over here.
Lord Captain, I serve at your pleasure.
At your approach, Abelard straightens and grunts in pain, as if something in his back crunches. How are you feeling? You haven't seen your departed wife again. That's a rough statement. Any thoughts on how we get out of here? Do you know anything about this place? How are you feeling?
I fear, Lord Captain, that without the intervention of an experienced rejuvenate adept, I will not be able to overcome this frailty on my own. Blessed throne, it is hard to be a helpless old man. I always hoped I would die, long before the day my back and hands gave out. And look at me now.
Yeah, I was hoping that when we killed that creature, he would somehow just get all of his health back, and he did not. You haven't seen your departed wife again?
Not once, Lord Captain. I am of sound mind and memory, and I live to serve House von Valencius.
Abelard strives to impart his usual severity and vigor to his words. They came out slightly contrived. So he may not have been entirely honest there, but we'll let it slide. Any thoughts on how we might get out of here?
I am sorry to say I do not. If we had our ship and crew at our disposal, we could be safely within its walls, conduct reconnaissance of this place, and in the end, meet our deaths in battle against the xenos, as befits true servants of the God Emperor. However, we are deprived of our usual resources. Now we can only rely on our weapons and our wits.
Yep.
Van Kellogg's could probably tell you something about our prison, but his fate is as yet unknown.
Not totally unknown. We know that he has been captured and experimented on. So, yeah. Do you know anything about this place?
No, Lord Captain. And trust me, I hope to remain in this state of blissful ignorance until my dying day. Just knowing that this abyss exists at all is enough to poison my mind.
That's fair.
It is possible the Xenos Aelith could tell you something about this place. After all, she is in some way related to its denizens. And she is responsible for the fact that we are here at all.
Abelard falls silent, but his eyes make it clear what he thinks of the Eldari's return to the ranks of your companions. Yeah, I get that. I must take my leave. Abelard nods wordlessly and closes his eyes, both out of a desire to sleep and a desire not to see his surroundings even for a short time. So yeah, Aelith appears to have just vanished. And there was more I wanted to talk to her about. So I'm going to see, before we talk to the Commissar, because I'm guessing that's how we get back to the arena. Possibly? Maybe we just walk back to the arena. Oh, okay. Choosing our companions. Yeah, we'll just go with the same people. Right, because that acts kind of like our ship, where whenever we go somewhere else, we have to choose our companions. It's just weird to me that we didn't auto-heal like we do on the ship. There's got to be a way of healing from our wounds. Sure, they're not going to just all keep stacking up until we eventually get out of here. Like, fighting in the arena with our wounds constantly getting worse seems like a really bad time. We could try doing Medicae tests to cure them, but that seems like a very heavy use of our medkits. So let's see if Irliet's back. Yes. Let's finish our conversation.
You came back from the dark, Elentark? Unharmed.
I want to know why you did it. Everything from beginning to end.
You were asking why? How could I have trusted a monkey, Elentark? After Muaran told me that it was your kind that had attacked Cruderok. After I glimpsed a piece of Cruderok in your chambers. I saw that monkey hearts were full of hatred for me and my kin. And I saw how indifferent you were to the troubles of my kind. What else was I to do? Of the two sorrows, I chose the one that was closer to my blood.
I don't think this is terribly fair. Like, yes, there were multiple times that Monkey killed her kin in our attempt to find them. But every time she gave me a lead, I chased it down. And even when her people were attacked by humans at one point, we welcomed them aboard our ship. And then, yeah, our people broke orders and killed them anyway. But it's like, it should have been obvious that at least I was trying to save them. So I saw how indifferent you were to the troubles of my kind. Unless she's saying you as in Monkey in general, but us specifically, we have been doing our best to help her with her search. So that seems unfair.
Which is why I tried to find my dark cousin on the day he attacked Argonis. I used the commotion to slip away unnoticed and wandered the streets like a shadow in search of its owner. My efforts were futile. I returned to the palace in confusion. I waited for my fresh wounds to stop aching and for the watchfulness of the surrounding monkey to fade like the mist on an autumn morning. But still, I had my doubts. Perhaps, I thought, I should discuss it openly with you.
You definitely should have, yes.
That monkey Achilles. There was something wrong about him. He kept disappearing at night. So one day, I followed him. Achilles was contacting Marajai, using an artifact that transmitted his master's orders. That is how I learned that the burnt monkey was about to betray you. Which meant my only chance to discover the fate of my homeworld was about to slip through my fingers. I could not wait any longer. I killed Achilles, took the artifact, and demanded answers from Marajai. He hinted at where I could go to look for the truth. You know what happened next.
I wasn't even aware Achilles was dead. Because in the attack on Dargonis, we saved him from an attack. I think that's the last we saw of him. So you killed him afterwards? Huh. Did you kill Achilles? I mean, she just said she did. I killed Achilles, took the artifact. Did you kill Achilles? Seems like a weird question to ask.
My words will hardly console you, Elentark, but I killed the traitor. I fear the Dark Ones left too many scars on his fragile soul. Your loyal monkey broke, so I gifted him a swift death, free from the shame of betrayal.
Huh. Do not presume to know what he was about to do. So, she's claiming that Achilles was getting his information directly from Marjai using an artifact. Because we'd been wondering how, or Marjai was wondering how we knew so much information about where to go. And we know we're getting our information from Achilles, but Achilles was in contact with Marjai? Like, there's some connection there that's seeming odd to me. Do not presume to know what he was about to do? Yeah. He didn't seem like a traitor to me. At least there was nothing openly shown that I saw. And certainly the Inquisition trusted him, and they're usually pretty good about knowing who to trust. Do not presume to know what he was about to do.
I know. Believe me, I know.
Okay. We went through all that, and you didn't even learn anything.
Alas, my cousin fell out of favor with the Archon. But even so, I doubt Marajai would reveal the truth. At least not before his dark soul was suffused with my suffering.
Enough about that. A quiet sigh of relief is her only reply. What do you know about this place?
Commora. This city grinds down the will of the strong and torments any who get tangled in its dark web. The fools are the first to die, and the shrewd perish regardless. I have never been here before, but few children of Osirion manage to escape the Dark City without surrendering a part of their soul. So what is it that you wish to know?
Who rules the Dark City?
An ancient and powerful Drukhari named Asdrubael Vecht, the supreme overlord of the Cabal of the Black Heart, who reigns over all of the Drukhari with an iron fist. My dark kin consider him to be a living god. Much like your emperor on the Golden Throne, Vecht sits upon a throne of darkness and suffering that keeps Comora's disparate clans from disintegrating. I would not want to meet him if I were you, Alantak.
So the Dark Eldar have an equivalent of the Emperor. I wonder how his power actually compares. Because the Emperor has shown his power many times, particularly before he was trapped in the Golden Throne in death. Deathlessness, I guess. He's not dead, but not really alive anymore at this point. Yeah, don't know. What about cities other than Commora?
There are no other cities, Alantak. The Dark City has no bounds. It is a tangle of countless nightmare domains subject to a single ruler. An endless amalgamation of ever-changing and immutable dimensions. You cannot grasp its tenebrous grandeur, for even my life will not be long enough to visit all corners of the Dark City and the realms that border it. But it hardly matters where you go, for death lurks on every corner.
Yeah. And the Corpse Emperor of Mankind. Yeah. It's a very interesting mindset for 40k where you worship the God Emperor of Mankind, but also it's basically a corpse left on life support being kept alive by the blood of thousands of psykers daily. Yeah. Do you know how we can get out of here?
The Dark City is pierced by millions of spires, and a webway gate may be hidden in any of them. It is the only way out of this place, and an impassable obstacle to any who do not know how to operate it. I know, and will help you should you so desire.
I do desire to get out of here, yes. The flagships to the Inquisition is the Emperor's Grub Hub. Never considered it that way. have they ever really stated how, like, what the percentage is of the psykers that they pick up, how many actually get turned into useful sanctioned psykers versus how many are just fed to the Emperor? Like, is it, 50% are useful and 50% are, given to the throne? Or is it more like 1% is useful and 99% are fed to the throne? Like, yeah, that percentage-wise. Because if it's like, oh yeah, we're going around collecting psykers to train them up to be useful, and any that can't be trained for whatever reason, they don't have a mind capable of the sanctioning process, we feed them to the throne. And it's like, yeah, 95% are put to good use, but the other 5% are fed to the throne. Then it's like, okay, I don't feel bad about that. But if it's like, yeah, we're capturing all of the people, all the psykers found on all these planets, the young, children, the old, whatever, doesn't matter, and 99% of them are fed to the throne, but there's a lucky like 1% that actually turns out to be useful, then it's like, yikes. I suspect the majority get fed and it's only the strongest and trainable that become sanctioned psykers. It probably is more the larger percent that gets fed to the throne. But I was just wondering if there's any actual lore that gives that sort of breakdown percentage-wise. But I doubt it. But it wouldn't surprise me if it is the majority that are going to the throne. Because collecting psykers for the purpose of training them feels good. But collecting psykers just to feed to a throne, and it's like, oh yeah, as a side byproduct, we find occasionally good ones to train up, but the vast majority are just being fed to the throne. That feels bad. I have other questions.
But do I have the answers that you seek?
I apparently don't have other questions. Gather your strength. There are more trials yet to come.
So says a butterfly struggling in the dark city's web. I will be close, Elentark, and I will support you in the coming trials, if you choose to let me.
Iliad's thin lips curve into a half smile. Yeah, okay, so that is everyone talked to. Besides the Commissar. Wondering if you're going to be willing to give me some healing. My brothers and sisters, it is time for you to meet our greatest ally. Rogue trader Ignatius von Valentius himself is part of the resistance. I ask you, how can we fail with someone so mighty fighting on our side? The maleficent xenos have already tried to kill him in the arena, yet their efforts were for naught. The Emperor protects. The Commissar gives his inspirational speech while looking you right in the eye without a shred of shame. His words draw smiles of amazement and exultation from the people around him. You have never seen any of them before. The exact percentage of psykers you get directly absorbed by the Emperor is difficult to determine, but it is safe to say that a substantial portion are used as a power source. Yeah. Yep, that doesn't surprise me. You're traitorous maggot. I have questions about you personally. Not at Malice. Was it not our intention to kill him? Not the fighters. What do you think of those people? What do you think those people will do to you if I tell them your true business is? Attack, you're relieved of your post, Commissar. Not at Malice. Was it not our intention to kill him? The Viper is surprisingly hard to kill. He's chock full of life support augmetics. I figured a new pet would be a nice bonus to claiming victory and having the den back. Besides, new recruits need a target to practice their aim on, right? Malice looks horribly maimed. One of his arms has almost been ripped off and now is hanging on by sinew alone. His acidic voice, however, is the same as before, and so is the bloodthirsty gleam in his eyes. Just their aim? What about their close combat skills? Let me out, make me suffer. Put me against 3 of yours, 5 of yours, unarmed. Good entertainment for your people, is it not? It's the least he deserves. He is my trophy, you know, not yours. Hand him over. Either let him go or execute him, I abhor torture. Keeping him in a cage is pointless. He could be of so much more use to you. Or I see. I mean, long-term torture is what Kimura is all about, which we are therefore against. So I kind of agree with the Eye of Horror torture. Keeping him in a cage is pointless. He could be of so much more use to you. You're not thinking of striking a deal with this crafty beast, are you? A word to the wise, it's the surest way to die. That spawn is wiles like you wouldn't believe. He convinces you to trade a cup of water for a battleship. Then you blink, and you've got no water, no battleship, only a head shot full of holes. I have questions about you personally. I've got nothing to hide. There can be no foibles in a disciplinary officer's past or present. The Commissar winks at you. Who are you really? What do you mean by that? Are you asking what my name is? It's Iako Sotany. I didn't lie about that. You want to know my trade? I've got none. I was born in a hive that was suffocating from overpopulation. All I did my whole life was just survive using whatever means fate would throw my way. You want to know who I serve or who I believe in? Myself, and myself. No one else. Maybe you meant to ask what my calling is. That would have been an interesting question indeed. I think I may be an artist at heart. A beaming smile lights up the Commissar's face. How did you come to be in Camorra? They were forming an Astra Militarum regiment on my planet. Thousands of morons bought the Commissar's grok shit about rations and glorious duty that is protecting the Imperium. I wasn't one of them, of course. However, it soon turned out that those thousands of volunteers weren't enough. That's when the planet's governor conscripted the entire population of 17 hive levels, everyone who was of age. I lived on one of those levels. That's how I became a soldier, or to be specific, how I joined a penal legion. Our regiment was branded from the start for some heinous act committed by one of our dead predecessors. When they left us to die at the hands of the Drukhari, I decided I'd eaten enough crap out of the Imperium's hand. I beat our Commissar to death and convinced my unit to surrender, and that's how I ended up here. You look like you're enjoying yourself here in Camorra. You seem surprised. You're the rogue trader here. You're the one whose former life was sweeter than this one. But for a commoner like me, our beloved Imperium is just as much of a deadly, treacherous, deceitful place where everyone wants to use you and kill you. The only difference is that nobody here demands that you jump for joy about the way things are. So yeah, I like this place more than my former world. No more questions. Praise the Emperor. Sure. I'm sure you're praising the Emperor. Requires dogmatic votary. You may be fake, but you have the makings of a true leader. People follow you, and as hollow as your promises are, the courage that you inspire is real. The Imperium needs people like you. It's an interesting idea of, you could be a Commissar for real. If you decided to leave this. I'm going to go with it. The Imperium needs people like you. He barely stops himself from bursting into laughter. Oh, give me a break. I'm telling you, Iako, sure, the Imperium's treated you like a dirty cannon fodder before, but now it really needs you, I promise. Even if I were an exemplary leader and a real Commissar, who cares? This isn't the Imperium. The game is different here. Instead of staging a fake escape, you could stage a real one. You have the resources, you have the people, so use them. The Emperor will guide you. Well, that was a joke, as if you could make a good leader keep play acting. No, you have the potential to escape here if you wanted. The Emperor will guide you. Wait, you're serious? Escape from this foul nest of misery just like that? Yeah, right. Then again, I suppose I do have weapons, provisions, and fighters. The Commissar's mocking smile slips away, leaving him deep in thought. He glances at you in surprise, as if seeing you for the very first time. You really mean it? The whole thing about getting out of here and starting over? Void, damn it. Now I can't get it out of my head. I'll think about what you said. I need to come up with an escape plan. A real plan. You feel as if he has just undergone some indescribable change. As if now you are looking at not a lying fraud, but a true hero of the Imperium. Well, now that I've gone through that, I don't want to do these other ones. Like, he's actually considering an escape plan, so just trying to get the rest of the people to kill him seems not as good. I have other business to attend to. The Emperor protects, comrade. The Commissar expertly hides his derisive smile under a grimace of a loyal, lofty pride. Okay. If you've got a derisive smile, then it seems like you're not thinking about it too hard. Whatever. we've completed the Survivor's Revenge quest. If we go to completed quests, I'm curious to see what it says about that. Survivor's Revenge. Here we are. Rogue Trader was tricked into fighting as a gladiator. The one who did this can likely be found in the pit at the den of the Shriekers. This is where the Rogue Trader should go if he wants to get even, and also to equip himself with decent gear from Malice's stores. Okay, so there's no statement of what long-term consequences that's going to have. But possibly he will try and escape. Dimensional tear, blah blah blah, yeah. I guess now we go back to the arena. Kind of hate that. But I think it is what it is. And we're going to be going in with long-term traumas that I have no real good way to heal. I suppose I could try and have someone Medicae. So we've got a 50 Medicae on ourselves, 45, 45, 90. Perfect. If we go to our consumables, large med kit heals 1 fresh injury, or if none, 1 old injury on a successful Medicae test. Removes 1 fresh injury, or if none exists, attempts to remove 1 old injury. So let's give Pascal some of these.
Watching the lazy handle sacred technology breaks my heart. Figuratively speaking, my cardiovascular augmentation can withstand much more than high blood pressure.
Alright, so if we save again, I don't know why I'm saving again right away. Pascal, try and medicate yourself.
My frail organics require this.
No.
Integrity factor increased.
So, are we able to see the check he's doing? Because it says it attempts it, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Required it.
If we used the larger med kit, it says that same general idea, heals 1 fresh injury, or if none, 1 old injury upon a successful Medicae test. So does that work?
Function of 1.
What is going on here? Suffering trauma, crippled arm effect, head trauma effect applied. It suffers trauma, crippled head trauma. I am confused what's happening with all that.
Integrity factor increased.
I'm probably going to reload because this doesn't seem to actually work. But I was curious if I could just heal myself. But yeah, it's not even appearing to do any sort of roll. So yeah, let's reload that. I don't know. It looks like I'm supposed to be able to do Medicae tests to heal. But it doesn't seem to work. So, not really sure. I mean, arguably I could go with these, the advanced medikits. But that is a similar idea of attempts to remove an old injury. Which is what these say. So, I don't know. I think we're going to be forced to go into the arena with injuries, which I'm not thrilled about. But oh well. Arena was this way, I believe. Yeah. Let's give it a go. Let's look at our formation. Is it? It's not bad. I'm fine with Abelard being up front. Are you sure you wish to collect the remaining trophies and leave this location? Yes. I suppose we did pick up a couple of items from some of the creatures we've killed that we could have taken back to the Technomat. Something we could have done.